Hi, it is iYikKam time again. So as usual, many living in a delusion realm of me too and love to argue when I point out that what they are presenting is not what I'm talking about. Namely, force flow, short strike, snake engine. Okay? Again and again for years, people do this kind of stuff. So today I like to clear this thing up for you, okay? And often when I clarify things in forums on this is not forceful, this is not short strike, then I always get a few people who will say this. Well, show me how you fight, okay? And with this today, I like to clarify with all these people once for all, clear this thing out, okay? My agenda, my missions is to set up an educational platform. So in an analogy like studying mathematics, my missions, my goal, my agenda is to set up that mathematics educations so that everybody can learn proper mathematics, so that we can generate medical doctors, scientists, and engineers to come. My agenda is not to show you how good I can perform in the national mathematics competitions. That's not what I look at all, okay? And also, to be a champion in the national mathematics competition doesn't mean one know the mathematic platform, okay? It is a different stuff, okay? So, for example, if one like to learn multiplication, one need to know the operations of multiplications. One need to know the table of multiplications. One don't just standing or sitting in the class asking the teacher, oh, show me how fast can you do math, while oneself have no idea what is multiplications. And when one get that problem set, math problem set, one is guessing. And then one argue whatever one wants. Okay, for me this is idiotic. Okay, so I am not the reference. Objective and scientific and based on evident facts is the reference. Challenge me mean nothing, because as what I say again and again, the missions of mine is to set up this education so that everybody who want to be design engineer, who want to be medical doctor, who want to be scientists can grow from that. It's not for somebody who want to have a trophy in the math competitions. So get that straight, okay? And don't watch my video, don't read my post in any forum. If you are the guy who want to compete in a national mathematics, okay, I set my mind to develop, to help, to support those who want to be design engineers, who want to be medical doctor, who want to be scientists. And I support the general public, not those particular guys who want to prove that how fast they can do math. Okay? So get that straight. So today, I want to show you with the Xiu Tao sets what is all this Wing Chun training about. And you cannot find whatever I tell you today anywhere in China, any time in the past, because today in Silicon Valley where I stand, we successfully already be able to map the ancients to the science, namely physics. We know by data It is an objective scientific stuff. Okay? It is an objective scientific material. I am not the reference. Okay? Let's get that clear. Whoever do not practice Wing Chun this way, Xiu Lim Tao this way, will not get nowhere, or will not be able to have effective and efficient development. That is for sure. Not because it is I said it. It is because scientifically and by evidence we can prove that. If you don't do this, you don't know. You do not know how to handle that sense. Okay? So stop talking about what's a snake engine or force flow and those kind of stuff. So let's go. There are 3 levels of Xiu Lim Tao development per ancient document. 3 levels. And we now map into science. Okay? In today's language, the first level is mind synchronized with physical body. It means the mind has to aware of the entire body and be able to handle the entire physical body effectively. So, in order to be able to handle the full physical body, one has to aware of it. One has to be able, or one has to be trained or developed to do, in today's words, the squats. Because this is be able for one to activate, simultaneously activate the major muscle group of the body, and that's needed for a full handling of the physical body. And one has to be able to do the torque or oblique, okay, oblique exercise, so that one be able to activate the oblique, the muscle related to it, and develop strong core and the back. So these two in today's science, the Xiu Lim Tao first level have to develop this muscle which is activated by the squat and the oblique. And on top of this, to be able to handle all the joints, which is the 7 bones, this is the first level of Xiu Lim Tao development. Okay? Now, on top of this first level, after one be able to aware and handle this, one need to develop the lower abs breathing. Because one need that high capacity of oxygen intake or breathing capacity to promote health and to get ready, prepare for fighting. We all know today the minimum reference of being able to defend and fight is having a stamina of full force, counter and attack and counter for at least 45 seconds. 45 seconds of counter and attack, full force. One need that breathing to support that. Otherwise, it cannot use for self-defense or fighting. Just don't kid ourselves. There's the physical human needs for the energy. And one will not be able to improve one body if one do not have the high capacity breathing for healing, as in the ancient Chinese have written down. Okay? So that is the second level of Xiu Lim Tao. This is a training needed. The third level consists of 2 parts. One is called the Qi flow part. Another part is the force flow part. For the Qi flow part, one need to know the 12 channels, 12 proper channels of the Chinese medicines, where the yin channels from the feet to inner body here to the chest to the hand is synchronized with exhale. While inhale, the yang meridians or channels from finger to the head to the back down to the feet is synchronized at inhale. Okay, so this is the third level, part 1, which is be able to handle the channel flow properly. And one can look at this channel flow handling is a fine tune of the first and second level of Xiulin Tao. It is a fine tune. A few things we can know today, which is not accord to the train of the Xiulin Tao or Wing Chun, is you see people do Zhan Zhuang where their shoulder blade pops out. Okay? You see people who do who mix Wing Chun, W-E-N-G, Shaolin Wing Chun into Wing Chun, Xiulin Tao, where they put one hand up here and move another hand, like quote unquote in the video we say that there's part 2 of Wing Chun Queen. Okay, you see their shoulder blade handling when they do this part tied up. Okay, the third thing is when people import the so-called ngozo or sapat lohan, the whip type of so-called fudging, that is causing this part to be applied in a different way. All these three, the Zhan Zhuang of the Tai Chi, the Shaolin Wing Chun, and the Ngozo 18 Lohan hand, Sapat Lohan, that is not accord to the Wing Chun Xiulin Tao set, because Wing Chun Xiulin Tao wonders flow from the top of the head going down to the leg at inhale, and thus this shoulder blade has to be loose and naturally settled or naturally aligned. So all these three art cannot be Xiulin Tao sets, because Xiulin Tao need that. Okay? Now, so at the third level up to this part, when one, for example, doing this is exhale. Okay, so the whole first thing, if you analyze it, when you do this, meaning the whole body, all this muscle group, the like the squat, the oblique, and the 7 bow all activate, aware and activate. The second, the breathing, this is exhale, this is inhale, is a full body breathing, okay, or low abs full body breathing naturally. And then all this channel, exhale, this channel flow this way, inhale going up, going backward down. If you have the Kung Fu of that level, the third level, part 1, that's what it has to be done. And that's what one attain. Okay? Now, the part B of the third level is force flow. And before force flow, I want to share with you on the impulse momentum theorem, which is fit right away there. Now, we know the impulse momentum theorem. One side is force, the other side or equal to impulse divided by the time of the impact or the time of the collision or the time of the force release. So force here equal impulse or momentum change divided by the force, the time of the force release, the time. Now, for the impulse or the momentum change, because human body is, you cannot change your weight. I cannot change my weight instantaneously. So the momentum change or impulse generations is based on the handling of the velocity change. And velocity change is a directions, a vector quantity, meaning it has this direction, it's not just speed. Okay? Now, that generations of impulse or momentum change is implemented by mechanics. And there are many different types of mechanics to implement that impulse or momentum change. Because without that, you don't have force generated. Forget about it. Okay? Because force equal to momentum change divided by the time of the force release. Okay? Now, Wing Chun is a sticking body short strike. And thus, it limits itself or bound itself to a torque type of impulse or momentum change generations. The mechanics is bound in the system because it has a special type of uniqueness characteristic of Wing Chun, which is a sticking body short strike. So even in the 1784, it talked about the body spin. So this is a type of torque type of a momentum change generations. It deals with all this torque type, angular momentum type of stuff. Okay, so it cannot be Tai Chi for the pushing. It cannot be Ngo Zhou for this whipping. It cannot be, because it is those type of mechanic, the torque type of mechanic, which is written in the ancient short strike document, and it can be verified with impulse momentum theorem. Because you want to generate the impulse or change of momentum, you need those type of mechanics. And that impulse generations or momentum change generations is the basis of your force handling or force generations, because without that, you don't have anything. And in order to handle or intercept those impulse generations, one can intercept the mechanics which is related to the velocity change. Okay? So we can intercept him, or we can actually boosting the generate of the impulse. As soon as we know the mechanics, we know how to break it, or we know how to improve it. That's why impulse momentum theorem is very important. Okay, on this part. On the other part, the release time. The release time is very simple. If you can lengthen the time of release, you have an impulse, you divide by that time. If the time is lengthened, you actually minimize the force. If the time is minimized, actually you maximize the force. This entire thing can be looked like you sit in the car. If the car get into collisions, the car generated by the impulse, of course, by the engine pushing forward. That's the impulse. And then the time you hit, you have the accident. If you have a seat belt and airbag, you are actually prolong the time of impact where you hit yourself to the steering wheel. But if you don't have the seat belt and the airbag, you're going to slam right away with a short time of release, and that force is going to be huge and it's penetrate. So, in Chinese martial art or in Wing Chun, there is way to handle or to disrupt this release time. So that's why impulse momentum theorem is extremely critical and important to understand this stuff. Sorry, there's no chi, no magic. If somebody apply force to you, if you can handle, you can prolong the time of release of his release. This is what actually called as absorbing his jing. if somebody is apply force to you, you jam his generations of impulse or generations of the change of momentum by jam his mechanic so that his velocity change handling get disrupted. That is another way of you handling him. On the reverse, you can improve that. Okay? So this is how impulse momentum theorem apply in. You cannot find this in anywhere around the world. You can check every history because we map it in the Silicon Valley. We know exactly what it is. That's why we can synthesize it. We can clone it, if you like the name clone. We know it. We don't have to guess it. We know which mechanic do what, how to jam this, and all this thing. So again, it's just like the learning of the mathematics. It is a multiplications operations. We know exactly what to do. That is how far we have gone. Now, bring this to the part B, the third level part B of the Xiulin-Tao set, which is the force flow. Force flow is defined by the ability or defined by the transportations of action and reaction force around the body. Force flow is defined as the transportations of the action and reaction force to various parts of the body. That's why it is like a flow of force, because it's transportation of the action and reaction force. And we know, because Wing Chun is a sticking body short strike, the characteristic is like a sickle. It is retracting. We know it is a torque type or angular momentum type of handling. Okay? So, in Xiulin-Tao, the level 3 part 2, when they do this, actually that involves a torquing. See, my body is torquing, my center axis is straight, my body is torquing to generate that impulse or change of momentum, which is a need to generate the force. That's how it is. Okay? And if you see, the first level is be able to handle your physical body. The second is the breathing. The third is to refine via the physical, via this 12 channels. The fourth is using the torque mechanics to transport the force to different parts of the body. And if you know that if you want to use the torque, this center axis has to be straight or balanced. Okay? So it's transport here. Well, you can calculate with impulse momentum theorem how much you can do it and how much actually your velocity change you can handle. Or so you need to train to get fluent and be able to snap the whole thing out, spin it out. Okay, that is what Wing Chun development of the Jing, force flow, and the path of the transportation is named as force flow path. That simple, that clear. Okay. Now, when you lean somebody like that using your structure, that is not force flow or Wing Chun. Not force flow I'm talking about. Why? When you want to lean something, you have to lock your hand, hold on your hand. You have to hold on the structure. When you hold on the structure, actually you're disrupting or resisting the transport of the force, the action-reaction force around your body. Okay? When you're pushing, like the Tai Chi type pushing, that is called action type because you are not using the reaction force. You are pushing outward with your body entirely pushing outward. That is the action force type. It is not the force flow where we have this axis balance and we torque the thing and transport the force to the entire body of Wing Chun. People sometimes pop their ass out and doing this kind of stuff. Muscle, this is muscle power. Muscle, using this muscle, okay, they can do push hand or like Tai Chi and so forth. That too is not having this access, the torque mechanics to generate the impulse which is needed. Okay? So it is this simple. It is this clear. Got nothing to do with Hendrik. I can die, vanish from this world. What I'm presenting here is facts of the ancient mapped into the present science. And it can be calculated with impulse momentum theorem. So if you're doing Shilin Tao this way, lock the whole thing, you push this thing out using your mind power. Well, let's calculate how much impulse can you generate there. Compare with people doing the torque. The entire body torque with the mass and so forth. Angular momentum stuff. Compare that with this. Moving your arm with your elbow stuck down using your mind power. Anything. You can calculate, you can see. You are not going to generate a lot of things here based on your physical. Impulse momentum theorem. Okay? You can pose like that. You can use impulse momentum theorem to analyze what type of mechanics that how good is that generate of the impulse. Okay? Wing Chun is saying it has a short strike. Why? Because the snap is very fast. Because the generations of the impulse based on the angular momentum and based on the snap, it actually influences the impulse momentum theorem. It speed up the the impulse and actually it shorten the time of the release. That is why Wing Chun is called inch power. Why people doing this is called long power. Why? You have to move your COG. This physics. It's called long jing, long force. You want to do snap like that? How much time you need to accelerate or to for the momentum change, velocity change? All this mechanics got nothing to do with me. Anybody who knows physics can go analyze the hell out of it and see what happened. Okay? So you stand like that, moving this, arm only. How much momentum change or impulse you can have? How fast you can do it? If you go do this, how much momentum change you can have? How fast you can accelerate the thing? Okay? How much manipulation you have? If you want to go push hand this way, okay? How much it is? And the Wing Chun, when you get into here, the body is not wobble. Sometimes you can see people say, well, Hua Jing, you push me here, go back, and then come back. Well, in high speed, Wing Chun don't do that. Wing Chun drill in. This thing, the body, the center axis is balanced, and the body not wobble. At high speed, if you wobble, you're dead. It's like you drive a car which is wobbling at 70 miles per hour. You know the whole thing, the entire thing is misaligned. The wheels misaligned. If you go faster, you're dead. Wing Chun Dong, you get in. Okay? And when you go generate, it generate. That is Wing Chun force flow and Wing Chun force flow path and the development of the shielding house sets. So this is to share with you today. It's not meaning that I know it all. I don't know it all. But right now we can map the ancient to the physics. We can calculate out, we can improve it, we can break it, we can know exactly what it is. That's about technology. Okay? That's why I say, I repeat again, don't ask me to show you, can I be the champion of the national math competitions. That's not my mission, that's not my goal. My goal is to set this thing up. So everybody, all the 4 million Wing Chuners who want to learn, okay, who want to learn, I care less of who don't want to learn, can get this in a very short period of time, because right now it's well defined, clearly and scientific. Have nothing to do with this magical chi which is cannot be defined, magical jing cannot be defined. You can go to the entire world or go to China, learn from all the Tai Chi master, all the internal master. You cannot get this. Why? Because this is Wing Chun. This is not nothing else. This is Wing Chun. Okay? So I know this is a heavy video. Many people will not like this. But don't all Wing Chuners who care to learn Wing Chun deserve to know this? Deserve to know that they can develop this? And deserve to know that this is a pragmatic, it is a good art named Wing Chun, which you don't have to rely on anybody's arts. Do not have to rely on anybody's or any grandmaster name dropping, but it can be proven as a fact by scientific, objective way, systematic, be able to develop it. Okay, Wing Chun is no longer a Chinese art. Wing Chun today is an international, worldwide art, and everybody deserves to know this, that Wing Chun stood strong and solid on top of scientific. That's what I want to leave it to you guys. You don't have to remember me or who the hell I am, but you have the art named Wing Chun, which is solid. That is the bottom line of my existence in this world.